Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the finale of Dishonored. We were just asked by Sokolov and Piero to retrieve the plans for an enhanced arc pylon that they've been building, which should be in Havelock's old room. I think we just narrowly avoided getting spotted by a tall boy. And I think this guard is pissing on Corvo's old bed. Or maybe some of his effects? Either way, we have to get this guard out of this room really quickly because if I remember right, the other one patrols back in here really fast. He does not give that other room in the attic much of a once-over. Oh? Why are you sometimes like this, game? Either way, we'll get him out of here. And now we're totally stocked up. Corvo, remember before when I mentioned a special drawing I was working on for you? This is it. I don't know where you went, but I hope when you get back you see this and like it. I'd like to take it to Dunwall Tower with us. Everyone's acting strange tonight. Samuel was whispering to Callista about a flare launcher that she was supposed to use to call him. He told her to lock the door to my old tower. I heard the Admiral tell the others we were leaving tonight for a place called the Lighthouse on King Sparrow Island. I hope you get back before then. Emily. Aw, that's sweet. That's really sweet. Tells us that she isn't completely cognizant of what is going on, so they managed to spirit her off to this lighthouse on King Sparrow Island without her getting wind of this betrayal.
What? Why is no one making rounds over here? This better not be a joke.
So I suppose that partially answers my question about how they intend to manipulate her. Because if they can convince her that Corvo had been killed by somebody else, well, she doesn't hate them forever or distrust them. Still seems an awful lot like a lot of loose ends, but that's not necessarily a plot problem. That is the characters not being 100% brilliant robots with complete foresight of the future. It shows them as desperate and sloppy. And also a bit greedy with their machinations, which I appreciate. I think there is a tendency to write off characters not behaving like brilliant 100% logical robots as plot holes or character inconsistencies, when that's very rarely the case. People are dumb and they make mistakes and they don't always think things through perfectly. Case in point, look at all the times that I've been caught in this LP.
Astonishing.
So that didn't take much time at all to retrieve the blueprints for the enhanced arc pylon.
Is complete. Now to activate it.
With this device, we can send a powerful electrical signal through the nervous system, merely rendering our enemies unconscious. Or they can be reduced to ashes.
What is your opinion, Corvo? As you wish, Corvo. We will be far away before any of them regain their senses. All is ready, Corvo. All that remains is plugging in a whale oil tank to power it. Will you do the honors?
When this arc pylon is charged, no one will dare come near us.
Now we just have to power it up. I thought I remember this being in a different location earlier in the game, but I could be wrong. Where is the receptacle? I don't think it's down here, right? Oh, is that what it was up on the roof? I saw the arc pylon itself, but I guess not all of the mechanisms and the receptacles for the whale oil. Here we go. Just a few loose ends to tie up before we get off the island and into the final mission. And this will actually help us transition to the next mission safely.
Amazing. Simply amazing. It functioned beyond my greatest expectations. It defies description. A device like this will ensure Dunwall's security for a century.
Now that you've eliminated the City Watch, I can find my way out of here. But there's no way I can help Emily the way you can. I saw Samuel on the river earlier. I'm sure he'll take you where you need to go. One last trip, I expect. I had one job. Take care of Emily. I tried as best I could.
Should call Samuel down in case we have another instance where blinking onto the ground causes us to take fall damage, and just take the safe way around while he pulls up in the boat.
Thought I'd find you here.
Never pays to bet against you, does it? I saw the signal. I knew you'd be back, Corvo. I knew it. We'll need to get out of here soon. The Admiral controls the military now, Martin's High Overseer, and Pendleton's in favor with the aristocracy and Parliament. They need Emily, of course. But if Havelock senses that it's all about to fall down around him, who knows what he's liable to do? Good. Then it's one more trip across the river to where it meets the sea. That's where the Lord Regent was building his new lighthouse. Ought to be something to see.
So when he says the Lord Regent, does he mean the old one? Or the current one, which is Havelock? Because this thing is pretty much complete.
This is it, sir. I suspect Havelock Martin and Lord Pendleton landed there a while ago and went into the lighthouse. Knowing them, they're not giving up without a fight. I remember hearing the Admiral and Martin talking about this place as where they'd hold up if they had to. Anybody going in has to breach the fort, the gatehouse. Then there's only one way to the top. All I can say is that it's been a pleasure serving with you. Maybe after all this is settled, we'll see each other again. Good luck, Corvo. If anyone deserves it, you do. Give my best to Emily. After she's on the throne, she won't have time for an old man like me. I knew you were sharp, Corvo. But somehow you managed to get through all this mess without losing sight of what really matters. For that, I respect you. The city's gonna pull itself up, I believe. Too many good people here to let it all turn to ashes. I'd best be going. The battlefield's no place for an old sailor like me. That time is long past. Good luck, my friend.
So we loaded into King Sparrow Island on low chaos, which I believe guarantees us the low chaos ending, regardless of what we do from here on out. Now, Samuel was very cordial and respectful, and even full of praise for us, but that can go incredibly differently. So if you kill recklessly and you kill often, Samuel will curse your guts here. And he'll go one step further. He will fire off a flare gun and alert all the guards. Arkane got a lot of flack. They got a lot of pressure to cut that out. But they didn't, because the idea of you being able to kill so cruelly and indiscriminately and be so malicious, only to be treated as a hero, sounded psychotic. And you know what? Good on them for sticking to their guns. for saying that being a cruel murderer has ramifications in how people... Ooh, fuck. In how people treat you. In how Corvo deserves to be treated. So we're in this little sewer access way, so we can deactivate a wall of light. I think there's one more panel that we have to take the whale oil tank out of. And then there are also two entrances into this island that kind of converge at the lighthouse. There's the shore side and the harbor side. Okay, I'm a little bit paranoid about where this other dude is, because there's no one guarding the wall of light up here. Somebody did just say something though. Hold on. Okay, he's on the other side of the door to the courtyard, which I don't have the key for. I did pick the other guard up that I just knocked out, and I didn't get a key from him, so it's not on his person. No, I just wanted to double check. Either way, that's not too much of a problem for us, because we're not going to take that route anyway. In fact, I'm going to come out here to where the drainage spills out and just blink over here, because that's what deactivating the walls did for us. Then there's something else we can reprogram, and
Squad after what happened last night? Never doubt it.
I think we're gonna blink here. Oh, Jesus. I just want to blink to get line of sight on this other one. The Overseer, you can see him holding a music box, so we don't want to alert him, and we don't want to get too close to him. And now we're in the fortress proper. That, of course, is locked, but since we're here anyway, we can just blink over.
Seen any more big rat swarms?
Blow off.
Okay. A few final tidbits about the game and its setting. I may have mentioned before that it was set in London in the year 1666 at one point. But before that, it was set in feudal Japan, where Corvo would have been a ninja. But their marketing department told them that they couldn't do anything with that setting for a Western audience. Which... seems like probable horseshit. Especially considering this was 2011, 2012. And that looks a lot more obvious in hindsight, but even at the time, that seems kind of ludicrous. Either way, that's why they ended up... Let's try and bend time and blink behind this guy. I'd rather knock him out than use a dart. I don't know if we'll get around him this way. Ah, fudge. Okay, well, he gets this in the chest. Still non-lethal. Once they started getting into the... Ooh, it's a longer fall than I thought. He might be dead. He might be dead. Oh well. Once they started getting into the fiction of the world and the whale oil and the arc pylons and the walls of light and all that stuff, it just stopped resembling London, so they fully embraced making their own fictional city and their own fictional planet, really. And the reason why 1666 was significant, by the way, is because of the plague and the Great Fire of London. That kind of scoured the poorer districts of London. So there were some good parallels to what finally became Dunwall. What a super helpful little rat. He's even gonna help us get behind this guy to knock him unconscious. It is sort of curious that they tell you specifically that this is the low chaos version of the island, especially because there aren't that many significant differences between a high chaos in the final mission and low chaos, aside from some of the implications of the ending And there are two major things. You can confront both Martin and Pendleton at different points while going up to the tower for the final confrontation with Havelock. Okay, maybe I won't blink, because that's gotten me into trouble a few times. Weird. But yeah, High Chaos, you can confront and have a little bit of dialogue with Martin and Pendleton leading up to that point. But here on Low Chaos, we're just gonna have to wait and see what becomes of them. And given the final mission, no reason not to just go all out one more time. Oh, and all the powers get even better in Dishonored too. Like, no, I'm not gonna say. There is Blink in Dishonored 2, but there's also another mobility like equivalent to Blink, an alternative, which is real fucking good. Now, I have not thought this through completely, but I hope I can pull this shit off. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be real close. Yeah, I think this was necessary. We'll leave him behind. Okay. Oh! Hi, friend. Stop time just before you noticed me, though. I think that one down below is gonna be fine. The guards tend to not be very suspicious of the intense nausea and what has to feel like some kind of dissociative fugue of being possessed and ending up in a different place. Yeah, you get down there. Are we blinking up here, or is that the elevator that we just threw him into? It is. We just have to fall in. Oh, it's not letting me fall in. Can we blink down into it? There are a couple janky little things. Oh, like the body having a big party over there. Oh, he's having so much fun. He's gonna have good dreams. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, where are you at? I don't think he's here anymore. Nope. He had too much fun partying in that elevator. It was like a MagFest party. They tried to ban the elevator parties, but life finds a way. Oh, those... Fuck, they're... If you're sober in one of those elevator parties at MagFest, it's perhaps scary and claustrophobic, but if you are properly drunk at a MagFest elevator party, you forget that you're in a tiny metal death box.
Remember when this was just a dream? Lord Trevor Pendleton, neglected youngest son, bullied by your brother. Martin, such a clever man. His talents wasted until he found his thing. Callista, the nursemaid. Bitter Pierre, dejected for Vicar. Samuel, a useless old man, hungry for purpose. Couldn't be with us tonight. Unjustly dismissed from the Navy over an affair of honor. My friends, the times we've had. I'm almost sorry this moment has come. Our enemies have fallen. We put an Empress on the throne who will take years to grow up. And by the time she does, she'll be ours. She's young. Emily the First could reign for 60, 70 years if she's kept safe. Oh, what we could do in that time. Look how much we've changed the city already. A golden age is coming. And no one will ever know what I had to do for it. You won't tell, will you? This is all Martin's fault. We hadn't helped Corvo get out of prison. Corvo hadn't been so damn good at his job. We hadn't gotten greedy, afraid. Always too sure that was my problem. Never hesitated. Too sure of what I wanted. Too sure of what I wanted to do when other men stopped to consider. Saw it as a weakness. I know Corvo's coming for me just like he came for the others. Crossing the island below like it was nothing. Only a question of how and when. I'm lacking accountably. It's all fallen apart. All the steps that led us here made sense. When I was young, I went to sea, took command of a ship, and made aimless men into sailors. Made a collection of boats into a navy. Then founded a conspiracy and almost led an empire. No compromise. Never showed mercy. Never showed weakness. And I showed the world what mattered. Will and vision. And not being afraid of getting dirty. And now, I'll lose it all to a man with a faster sword hand. Or is it that he has a slower sword hand? There's something wrong with the world. It'll make a good story for the history. I'll have a good epitaph. In his time, he commanded a noble lord, a high overseer, and an empress. The man who brought down a titan. Admiral Havelock, son of the high ocean.
Did you think I'd fight you, Corvo?
Sorry to disappoint. This is yours. The key to Emily's cell. She'll be glad to see you. You made quite an impression on her. Did you know that? She asked about you constantly. Where you were, what you'd been doing. I told her. In the end, I told her everything. From the start, when we had such noble goals in mind, to the end, when we were afraid, fighting in secrecy about who we could trust and who we had to kill. Arguing over who would act as new Lord Regent. And she listened, eyes wide. She's become an interesting girl. If she lives, she'll make a memorable Empress. Go ahead. Kill me or take me to Coldridge Prison. Make your choice. She'll be watching.
Okay now? Will I be Empress?
So ends the interregnum, and now Emily Caldwin the First will take her mother's throne after a season of turmoil. You will stand at her side, Corvo, guiding her young mind and protecting her from those who seek to exploit her or cause her harm. You watched and listened when other men would have shouted in rage. You held back instead of striking. So it is with the passing of the plague and Emily's ascension, comes a golden age brought about by your hand. in decades hence, when your hair turns white and you pass from this world, Empress Emily, Emily the Wise, at the height of her power, will lay your body down within her mother's great tomb, because you are more to her than royal protector. Farewell, Corvo.
For all of the big and the small, where the taller they stand, where the harder they fall. We live for today, but we die for the next. With blood in our veins, in the air, and our chest, we step into.
Okay, as much as I love that credit song, I'm gonna cut back in here because I have a few final thoughts. Like, at the end of the day, I do love Havelock as a character, even if the monologuing there is kind of clumsy. It says a lot about his intent, and a lot about intent in general, and if you're gonna do a story about ethical philosophies, like before how we talked about utilitarianism in regards to Sokolov's actions, I think it's fair to ask one more question about how much intent matters and whether Havelock's intent was even good in the first place, or if that's just kind of guilt roiling up in him as the end approaches and he's just rationalizing to himself in his mea culpa. I think that's all interesting. It's been years since I played this. It's still remarkable as hell. I definitely think some games from this very particular generation struggled to age well, especially visually, but Dishonored has such a fine aesthetic. Such a nice kind of milky watercolor. That'll just always look good. And I think thematically it's better than I remember. And part of that is me maturing enough focusing on plot as much as I did, 7 or 8 years ago? At least not as like the end-all be-all. I think the thing that it's always done best, though, is enable you to do some really cool creative stuff with your powers while wrapping it in this nice warm quilt of a stealth game. It still does that better than just about any other stealth game or series. And we still have 2 ahead of us, which I have to work out some things about the format for the LP, but I definitely do want to do Dishonored 2. Especially, like, I think I want to do Dishonored 2 if for no other reason than the Clockwork Mansion. That level alone, the entire rest of the game could be terrible, and I would still love that. But it's not. Dishonored 2 is very good. Better in many ways than the first. And I guess some would argue worse, but we'll probably get to that in the future. Like, one of the challenges of this LP is how much text, like actual literal text, there is. And how I'm going to handle all of the notes and stuff in maybe future LPs. Because the LP would be, like, interminable if I read out every single note and 100%ed it and sawed every note. So I don't know that I have a good solution other than what I did with this, which is just to say, if it's not super plot relevant, then you can like pause it for a second and read it for yourself, and I will at least linger on it long enough for you to do that. Not sure if I have a good solution yet, but I'll think of some stuff to make the format maybe a little bit better for the next Dishonored. And also for the DLCs, which I don't know how I haven't mentioned yet, or my plan for that. So what I'm going to do, for the, oh god, name's escaping me, the Brigmore Witches and the Knife of Dunwall, I'm going to put those off for a little bit, but they will happen sooner rather than later. I'm just not going to go straight from this into those, especially because I don't want to continue having 3 LPs running at a time. That's been taxing in multiple ways. It's been really taxing for me. I'm loath to admit that I think it's probably affected the quality of all 3 LPs to some extent, and it certainly affected the release schedules. That combined with like the travel schedules and getting sick back around my birthday, yeah, it all kind of adds up. But now that we're getting back to normal in terms of format, everything else everything else, bit my tongue, should fall back into line pretty well. So, before I go, I think I'll beat the credits out with this outro. Remember always to like, comment, subscribe, favorite the videos. I don't know if that still matters, but hey, why not? It's nice. At the very least, even if it doesn't help with search rankings or SEO or any of that shit, it's still nice. And I still read all of the comments because throughout all the years I've been doing this, my comment section has been really nice. It's been a really pleasant retreat compared to like 99% of YouTube comments. And I'm really proud of the community that I've cultivated. So it's always a joy to go into the comments and read feedback and just general responses to the episodes. And I do read it all. Also, I know this call to action is goofy and every YouTuber does it. The whole like, comment, subscribe thing has become its own meme. But we do it for a good reason. It really helps out. It genuinely does. It all affects the algorithm. It affects the search rankings for the channel and for videos on the channel. So it helps more people find my content. And that's lovely. Also, visit the links in the description, which include links to my Twitter and Patreon, patreon.com/scribe, if you want to support what I do in that manner. And also, ring the bell next to the subscribe button, because for some reason, subscribing isn't enough to guarantee my videos make it to your sub boxes anymore. Which, cool. Great. Thank you all for watching. As always, take it easy. Have a good one, y'all.